hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabakh on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and informed forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players aged 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. 4-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabakh on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and in-form forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players aged 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. Four-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, and Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, well, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabakh on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, well, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and in-form forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players aged 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. Four-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmeyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmeyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabakh on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and informed forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players age 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. 4-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmeyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmeyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmeyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabakh on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, well, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and inform forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players aged 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. 4-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, and Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, well, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabag on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, well, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and inform forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players aged 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. 4-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, and Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabakh on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and informed forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps not surprising. Moving on to Winter Olympics news now, and Lindsey Vonn says she nearly lost her leg after a heavy crash at the Winter Games, and she's thanked the doctor who saved her from needing an amputation. The American skiing great has had multiple operations since breaking her leg and ankle in the women's downhill event in Italy on February the 8th. Speaking in an Instagram video on Monday, she paid tribute to her surgeon for saving her leg and described the injury as the most extreme, painful and challenging of her career. Snooker now, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is set to make his debut in the World Senior Snooker Championship at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre in May. The tournament begins on May the 6th, 2 days after the completion of the main World Championship, where the 50-year-old will be aiming for a record-breaking 8th win. Changes to the seniors tournament rules mean that players aged 45 or over who are ranked in the world's top 64 are now eligible to take part. Despite skipping several tournaments this season, O'Sullivan is currently 11th in the rankings. 4-time seniors champion Jimmy White, the most successful player in the event's history, he's also set to take part this year, alongside with the likes of Ken Doherty, Stuart Bingham and Joe Perry. And finally, finishing with a couple stories in cricket, and Shimron Hetmyer made a stunning 85 off 34 balls as the West Indies began their T20 World Cup Super 8 stage with an emphatic 107-run victory over Zimbabwe. Hetmyer hit 7 sixes and 7 fours as he mixed finesse with power at a strike rate of 250 as he helped West Indies post a mammoth 254 for 7. However, it could have been much less for Hetmyer as he was dropped twice by Zimbabwe. In response, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 147 from their 17.4 overs. Their top scorer was their seamer Brad Evans. He made 43 from 21. And finally in cricket, and Durham have signed West Indies Test star Kemar Roach as they push for an immediate return to Division 1 of the County Championship following their relegation last season. The 37-year-old, who is closing in on 300 Test wickets, will join up with the Durham squad ahead of the season opener against Kent at Banks Homes Riverside, and he will be available until mid-June. Roach, he brings proven pedigree as a pace bowler in English conditions as a 3-time County Championship winner with Surrey. Speaking on his arrival, Roach said, "I can't wait to join Durham for the 2026 season. Having played in the County Championship for the past 5 years, I know how serious a side Durham are, so I plan to join and add great value. I hope to help Durham push for a trophy this summer, and I think the group Durham have is very close to doing that." That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Newcastle have received a potential double injury boost ahead of their Champions League playoff round second leg tie against Karabag on Tuesday, with defender Sven Botman and striker Johan Visser potentially returning to the squad. Botman, well, he's missed the last 3 games with a back problem, and 29-year-old Visser has been absent for 4 matches with a dead leg. Both trained with a trimmed-down squad at the club's blustery Benton base on Monday morning, though, ahead of the playoff second leg against the champions of Azerbaijan. Key midfielder Sandro Tonali and informed forward Anthony Gordon, however, were not among the group which were put through their paces by head coach Eddie Howe and his staff during the open part of the session, although given their workload in recent weeks, that is perhaps
off. Neither of these two sides have played for a couple of weeks. They've had plenty of time to prepare for it. Everton beaten at home in their last encounter. That was by Bournemouth. They finished that game with 10 men. Of course, Manchester United held to a 1-1 draw at West Ham United. As far as team news is concerned, well, a warm welcome along to our coverage of the action taking place at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. The match has just got underway. Oh, and a clearance from Lamens straight from the kick-off is blocked by Barry jumping in front of him. It's actually gone out of play near the corner flag, so it will be a goal kick, but it was worked back by Manchester United straight to Lamens, who's about 20 yards outside of his box. He tried a diagonal. It was Barry just jumped in front of it, blocked it, could have gone absolutely anywhere. And it's actually gone out near the corner flag. There was also a chance that Barry might have got there first, and there wasn't much sign that Manchester United were getting back. That could have been. That was inside 10 seconds. That was an incredible start made by Manchester United.
Yeah, as you say, it was their own mistake. They put so many players high, didn't they, with Lamens to boot it long and then maybe get a second ball or win the header. I'm not too sure, but yeah, what a start that would have been. Not been one of the fastest goals in the Premier League history for sure right there. And now United maybe just trying to calm things down a little bit on the ball, but as you said, what a start we could have been for maybe setting the tone for the game. Yeah,
it was less than 10 seconds. It was straight from the kick-off. Played back to Lamens and charged down. Incredible start. Manchester United have hardly come out all guns blazing. There was a suggestion after the West Ham United draw. Lenny Yoro was caught in possession nearly. What on earth are Manchester United doing? 90 seconds on the clock. That's 2 defenders or defensive positions where they've just taken too long in possession.
Yeah, just doolally in there, wasn't it, Yoro? They didn't look confident on the ball. Dewsbury was pressing him down, but not really with a lot of intensity. It was just putting him under a little pressure, and Yoro really crumbled there. I know Yoro's come in for the set down on the preamble. That's the only change, but he's looked very confident on the ball when he has started, and you'd like to think one change won't just change the full confidence of United. I mean, just play it long if you don't feel confident on the ball. And would you see a little bit of overplaying? United have the throwing, but maybe if you are Everton, you feel that maybe this is your night, and a little bit of confidence is knocked by the Red Devils.
I don't know what the start is about. I was going to say that both had 2 weeks to be fully refreshed. West Ham, of course, took advantage, and the suggestion was that Manchester United might have been fatigued because they had 1-4 on the bounce going into that West Ham game, and of course that was after a few days. Maybe they were fatigued. They've had 2 weeks and they've come out at snail's pace. Everton have come out firing. They haven't actually kicked the ball yet. It was a United kick-off. It was a United goal kick, and Everton have nearly turned the ball over twice inside the Manchester United half. They're swarming all over the Red Devils, and they'll be hopeful to get a little bit of the ball. They just haven't had it yet. Casemiro mops up, but Cunha's under pressure straight away. He's done well, actually, in tandem with Luke Shaw to hold off the attentions of Garner. And, well, Manchester United are all over the place at the moment. But they haven't conceded, and there is only 3 minutes ticking over. If you didn't catch the team news, of course, these sides haven't played since the 10th of February. Bruno Fernandes has spotted a little bit of space for Cunha, right at the D. He's got the ball caught under his feet a little bit, back with Fernandez, who tried a left-footed cross to Mbemo, volleys it back in, it's missed, shot comes in, or it's ricochets, another shot comes in, saved by Pickford. It could have gone in. Bumo fires it back across the face. That's blocked near post by Garner. And now bringing it clear is Ndiaye, and he showed good pace as well. Has he got the support? No, he hasn't. Oh, it's only intercepted by Maguire. Manchester United caught short in the middle of the pitch. They switched the play to the left-hand side, and it's Armstrong bringing it forward. He's to the left of the Manchester United D. There's no midfield in this game yet, as Idrissa Gueye tries his luck. That's blocked by Cunha. Falls kindly for Manchester United. Luke Shaw should slow things down. He will. I can't explain this start. Everton, of course, all over Manchester United. Then there was some chances for Manchester United. Straight away, there's chances at the other end for Everton.
Yeah, chaotic so far in the game, isn't it? It's a lovely ball from Fernandez to Mbemo. He just kind of stabs it back in, doesn't he? And it falls kindly for Cunha. It's blocked through off a few bodies, and then Diallo gets a strike on goal. Pickford saves it, but then it looks like it was rolling in the back of the net. From Diallo, striker coach trying to see it was Tarkowski on the line who clears it away. Pickford might have grabbed his strike and his save, but it looks more to me that Tarkowski's probably cleared that off the line from it going in the back of the net than you say, coming up the other end. Everton, what a back and forth start. It's been in the opening just over 4 minutes here, and Sammy Sk is giving away a foul, and Everton might have a dangerous free kick here.
Yeah, Everton looking for the double, of course. They won 1-0 at Old Trafford. Different manager, same squad, but different manager. Obviously playing a little bit differently. Let's put a positive spin on that one, without necessarily being too negative. It's just a drop ball, actually, to Everton. Basically, Barry tried to lay the ball off and then turned to run into a gap, but of course he ran straight into Maguire. Oh, it was a miss hit at the back by Jordan Pickford, picked up by Diallo. He's slightly miscontrolled. Pickford has regrouped. I don't know what is going on in at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, but another mistake, this time from Pickford. He's a good 25 yards outside of his area, and Mbemo was trying to force the error. And it's a horrible slice. What is going on, Lewis?
I'm not too sure. As you said, Rob, we're not sure. We're watching this, and there's mistake after mistake at the moment, isn't there? Maybe plays a little bit overconfident, maybe a bit rusty. I'm not too sure from the time off. And Diallo there with the ball over. As you spoke about, looked like, for example, as you said about United when they drew West Ham, and they were only about 3 or 4 days rest from the winning against Spurs in that timeline. You might have said, as you said, oh, they looked a bit fatigued. That was the problem. At the moment, it looks like both these teams are so much full of energy that they can't get it out of the system, so they're getting things wrong, they're rushing things. I was watching the Diallo chance back. It's a good save by Pickford. The question is, if Tarkowski isn't there, is it rolling in the back of the net?
Yeah, Jordan Pickford celebrating when the ball wasn't even cleared. I think that's a bit over the top, but still he's done his job to a degree. Certainly Tarkowski made sure that there was no goal. He might have got back, who knows, didn't matter. Tarkowski was behind him. They were both actually on the floor. Tarkowski cleared it while he was sort of prone. Just swung a leg away as Everton clear into the Manchester United half. Harry Maguire hooks it over his shoulder, headed forward though by Mainu, and he's found Cunha, who's wriggled past 1 or 2, and then it's a good challenge to win it back by Eric Bunham. And Everton have possession back inside their own half. Fired up to Barry on the halfway line. He's dispossessed by Maguire. Manchester United have it back. Mentioned Eric Bunham there. Oh, caught in possession was Casemiro. It wasn't a great pass from Lenny Yoro. Now it's Armstrong, left-hand side. He's tackled by Diallo. I'm looking at, certainly when Manchester United have possession, there are too many players who think they've got more time than they've got. They take an extra touch, they're almost at walking pace, and then they're tackled. They haven't woken up to that danger yet.
No, they haven't. That means Everton, as you say, have got more time to trap them, haven't they, and press them down. They're taking an extra touch. Almost taking a touch, then getting the head up instead of already having the head up and having an idea of what pass they want to make there. There's a Casemiro call, but that was another poor pass. Lenny Yoro's not had a good opening 7 minutes, had he made that mistake early on. That's another poor pass. I know he's back in the team and maybe finding some rhythm, but at the moment, looks like if you're Everton, you want to target him a little bit, but you are right, ball over the top from Casemiro. Yeah,
not too far ahead of the run of Mbemo. Tarkowski was a fraction behind there, but obviously it's a difficult ball to weight correctly. Straight ball over a runner's shoulder. It just bounced away through to Pickford, and Everton negotiated that one. I mentioned Everton have made a couple of mistakes, but basically it was a slice as opposed to being caught in possession. That was Jordan Pickford where he set his area. Well, on another day, we might have had a goal at either end by this point, but into the 9th minute now, it remains 0-0. Mentioned Everton won at Old Trafford. They had a man sent off almost by this point, and they still won 1-0. Incredible, really, performance from them, particularly from a defensive perspective. Again, Casemiro goes for the diagonal, this time left to right. Dalot brings it down, goes around the outside of Branthwaite, fires it across, and it's parried away by Pickford. He appears to be at least energised tonight, Jordan Pickford. He's full of demonstrations and fist pumping and chest beating. Not a great cross from Daly, you'd have to say, because the keeper's parried away, unless it was a shot.
Yeah, maybe he says it's a shot and then it looks a little bit better, but I think you're spot on. I think he's going for a cross there, and he just doesn't get the enough whip and bend on it. He's been given a bit more licence so far. Big tackle between himself and Armstrong there to get forward compared to Sean on the left hand side, and that worked there. Lovely ball from Casemiro. Diallo now trying to press down him, but it's given away. But yeah, really in the middle of the field it's really hectic and scrappy at the moment, isn't it? Everton are sitting back a little bit more, allowing United to have the ball, and again, as you spoke about, with the games so long without having a game, I don't know who that blends to United, who are in a good piece of form, where Everton were coming off of that loss to Bournemouth, as you said. I'm not too sure. At the moment, Everton are the ones who are really up for it.
Yeah, 10 minutes just about gone. Remind you of the team news. Everton, of course, beaten 2-1 by Bournemouth last time out. That was at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. 3 changes from that side. Michael Keane, Timur Bunam and Harrison Armstrong start of this evening. Vitaly Mikalenko, he's injured. Jacob Bryan is suspended, and Tyreek George is on the bench. 1 change from the West Ham draw for Manchester United. Lenny Yoro starting in place of Lisandro Martinez. He might be out for a couple of weeks, although I think Michael Carrick was at pains to point out a couple of interventions that Lenny Yoro did in that game late on. Obviously Manchester United were chasing the game, to say the least, and there was a couple of vital interceptions made by, or blocks at the very least, by Lenny Yoro. He's not started on fire tonight. Neither have Manchester United necessarily in possession in their own half, around the middle of the park. It's a little bit more free and easy when they're close to the Everton box, but that hasn't happened an awful lot. Long ball downfield from Pickford, and it's an acrobatic clearance from Dalot into touch. He had 2 there to mark, and he had to pull off the one that he was closest to. That was Branthwaite, offside given anyway. I think Branthwaite and Armstrong were 2-on-1 there, and Dalot just happened to be in between the pair, clearing his lines. Free kick to Manchester United, and again Lenny Yoro closed down very quickly, this time by the match winner at Old Trafford, Dewsbury Hall, and Manchester United falls back to Lamens. Heavy first touch, Barry will put him under pressure, cleared up to the halfway line, headed forward though by Keane. Harry Maguire's got the second ball, he's just caught by Idrissa Gueye. Stretching, I guess there wasn't that much contact, but Gueye didn't get the ball. He's kind of going through the path where Maguire was. Free kick, he's not really complaining. Not sure he's going to be slapping a teammate for that incident. Not so costly, but coming up to 12 minutes gone, it remains 0-0 in a rather bizarre start to the game. Everton, of course, started the season in decent nick at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It hasn't quite gone according to plan, though. I mentioned they were beaten by Bournemouth in their last home game. The home record doesn't look fantastic. 4 wins, 4 draws, 5 defeats. Not the worst, but they're better on the road. Manchester United not doing too badly on the road compared to the last couple of seasons, but they don't win many. They've won 4, drawn 6, only lost 3. Ball into the box, head away by Tarkowski, who's landed awkwardly. He was jumping over Diallo. He's clutching his left shoulder, so he did land on his left shoulder. There is a potential for a dislocation, of course. You never quite know. There's no malice from Diallo. Tarkowski wanted the ball, and he's jumped all over his man. Has he landed awkwardly? Difficult for us to say, but I don't think the referee gave a free kick.
No, I think he just stopped the play because of the injury. As you say, spot on, there's nothing from Diallo. Diallo's got his all eyes on the ball, and Tarkowski, if anything comes over him, as you say, he lands, maybe he could have been winded a little bit as well. As he's turning in midair, so as he hits the ground, it's almost his back and then his shoulder that lands. I don't know if it's used to dislocation or he's winded himself, a possibility. So it could be in for a change. That'd be a real disappointment for David Moyes and Everton that his skipper's got to go off, and O'Brien suspended as well, that he's not going to be able to come on. Of course, you'd probably just move Branthwaite into the centre and bring someone else on. He's back to his feet, so I don't know if he was winded for a second. I'm not too sure, but it's a short stoppage in play. United again trying to get on the ball. It was a lovely run from Diallo, ball overhit a little bit from Delo, and at the moment there's a good flow to the game with United, but Everton are holding them. They're happy for them to have the ball and they're pressing at the right times. I think maybe Everton would just like a big chance and a shot to test the keeper laments.
Yeah, not much action in either final third. United have had the lion's share of possession. It's around about 70-30, but as mentioned, not much of it has been in and around the box. There was, of course, a decent strike from Diallo. That was after a miss hit from Dallo, and of course Cunha's shot was blocked by Diallo, but it ricocheted back to Diallo, who put it into a dangerous area. Pickford came up with a save, cleared off the line, and not quite off the line, a couple of feet from it, but it was behind the keeper. Branthwaite's got a throw in near the corner flag for Everton into the 15th minute. Tarkowski's coming back on. Don't know if Branthwaite's got a long throw in his locker. Doesn't look like it's the way that he's shaping up. The return pass from Dewsbury Hall is poked clear by Diallo, and then that was sloppy from Armstrong. The counter is on for Manchester United. Cunha, in a bit of traffic though, is happy to settle for the throw-in. And the throw-in is halfway inside their own half. Throw-in to Manchester United. 0-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary. And rather bizarre couple of instances. Lamenz's pass to Maguire wasn't quite accurate. He had to get it round Barry. I don't know, you'd think this was Lamenz's debut. He looks a right bundle of nerves.
Yeah, he's spot on there, and he's looked so calm as well, hasn't he, since coming through the doors at Old Trafford. I know he's a young goalkeeper, it's a big move coming from the Belgian league, but he's actually fitted in quite nicely. He looked very calm, but you're right, this evening looks to be a bundle of nerves, does the goalkeeper. Quite clearly, Everton have, whether they're targeting that or they've just seen that I'm trying to pounce on that, that's what they're trying to do. United closing in on 70% possession, but also you wouldn't say they're knocking it around with a lot of confidence, personally.
A crossfield ball attempted by Fernandez doesn't work. Barry's hunting out a mistake again. It's contagious, this sloppy play from Manchester United. And again, the work rate from the Toffees is fantastic. Led by Barry, but Dewsbury Hall, Eric Boonham, Idrissa Gueye. There's zero time on the ball for any Manchester United player at the moment. I say that with Harry Maguire holding possession. He looks for a diagonal out towards Cunha. Garner's taken no chances. Perhaps could have let that go. He was close to the touchline, but he heads it into touch to make sure. And it's just a throw-in to the Red Devils. Cunha gets it back off Diallo. Now Maino, infield to Casemiro. Now Bruno Fernandes, 35, 40 yards from goal. The layoff from Diallo is poor. I don't know what the game plan is for Manchester United. None of it's working. And you could go through the entire 11 and say they've made a mistake already in the 17th minute.
Yeah, 100%. And you're spot on about watching them since Carrick's taken over. I do think there's usually something you're watching. That's a good battle between Yoro and Barry. That'll do confidence world for the young Yoro there, getting the beating of Barry there. But you're right, it's been a lot of, I think, more individual mistakes from United there. That's a poor pass from Diallo. It's just a nice little 1-2. So there's not much that Michael Carrick can do about that in terms of tactics. If your players are making individual mistakes, I do think, as you said, Everton have been really good in the press. It's a great tackle from Rubunan, and here come the Toffees.
Keenan Dewsbury Hall driving forward there, and Dye goes infield. Barry's on the edge of the D. He's actually trod on the ball there accidentally, Dewsbury Hall, so Manchester United come away with it. Cunha is not full pelt by any means, and Boomer was down. He was down trying to win a free kick. It was a great tackle from Eric Boonham, and the referee was having none of it. Referee tonight, incidentally, Darren England, hasn't had a big call to make, and Boomo is on the ball down the left-hand side, and that's a good tackle from Branthwaite. Not only has he won the tackle, he's deflected it off Brian Mbemo too, and the throw-in will be Everton's halfway inside their own half. It remains 0-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Manchester United have had 3 attempts to Everton's 1. But it is worth pointing out that United's 3 attempts were basically in one move, as I'm assuming they're counting that Dalot's at 1-2. United are on the edge of the box. Poor pass from Bruno Fernandes. He hasn't started well either. And now the counter is on for the men in blue. Armstrong just outnumbered in the end, and Dalot feeds it quickly to Mbemo. Mainu back to Dalot. Everton have got plenty back behind the ball at the moment. And at the moment it's difficult to work out where the United game plan that might work. There's a big gap between defence and midfield. There isn't an obvious way of passing through Everton because there's no space and nobody there. But they're not going long either, and at the moment they're just struggling for an idea.
Yeah, I don't even know if, as you say, they're not going long, but someone like a Sk coming on would offer that opportunity. I'm not saying making some inside 20 minutes, but that's someone who could offer that as an opportunity, don't you? Whereas at the moment, Everton can just see, right, Burmou's here, Coon's here, they can see all the players in front. There's no runs in behind, which has been pretty poor. I say that Shaw makes a running behind there, but it's not a good pass, and Dye picks it up with a good interception. I think it's just a little bit low in tempo as well. It's very slow, isn't it? As you said, take an extra touch. It needs to be a bit crisper, a bit quicker as well. And if they do that, that's how you open the Toffees up.
Diagonal from Fernandes has found Dalot. Created space by Diallo running infield, and Bamo to the D. Tries to work a 1-2. He's forced a little bit wide. Checks back outside of his boot towards the far post. Headed clear. Only to the D. Right-footed shot from Luke Shaw. And there's a race for the second ball. And Lenny Yoro beats Barry to the ball. He almost tackled it into the path of Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, but obviously he had the pace to adjust. But perhaps overplayed that. I liked the idea in the end, but maybe, Bruno Fernandes probably started the 1-2 on the penalty spot. He could have taken a shot. Yeah,
he fakes it, doesn't he? He sells Bramford and he goes down. Again, I like the idea of trying to dink it into the back post to play it through his teammates. I think it opened up there for Fernandes to go for a strike at goal, personally. And I was trying to put the cross from the outside of his right boot. With his left foot, have a strike at goal, test the goalkeeper there. Barry, well, that might be a foul given against him. Yeah, a bit physical against Joro. And we spoke about Barry pre-game. He gives away, I think, a lot of silly fouls. That's a silly foul to give away there. And Joro started a little bit, I think, maybe confidence shook, but as the game was going on, he's got the baiting of Barry a few times and he's growing in confidence. But I think that's a bit silly and clumsy from Barry there.
Yeah, he could have made it look a little bit more innocent than he did. He took a look in the back of Yoro. Kana just put a shoulder there and then turned as if butter wouldn't melt, but it was quite obvious. If he'd just run a fraction behind Yoro, he could have used himself in a more legitimate way. He didn't, like you say, silly free kick rarely. Dalot has it, finds Diallo. That's a loose pass from Diallo, though Barry's played it back towards the halfway line to Dewsbury-Hall. It's another loose pass. Michael Carrick, I don't know if he's thinking about a substitution after 21 minutes, but none of the forward players have started well, and that includes Bruno Fernandes. They've been really sloppy in possession, and I'm highlighting Manchester United more than Everton because Manchester United have had the bulk of the ball. That's simple as that, and they're the ones that keep giving away. Barry this time has won a free kick. Mainu is suggesting Barry's turned into him, but the arm goes across, or tries to at the very least. And it is a free kick to Everton. A little bit too far out to go for goal, you would have thought. But finally, really, a starting point for Everton to build an attack.
100%. And you like to think I know United have got height as well, with the likes of Yoro and Maguire, Casemiro to boot, but you've got Keaton, Tarkowski, Boonen, Barry. They've got a lot of height, haven't they? To Everton already seem better warming up. I don't think there's substitutions being made. I can imagine that's just right. You see in the first half all the time, don't you? A player warming up and keeping themselves nice and warm. I imagine it's quite a cold evening at the Hill Dickinson Stadium later on in February. Barry is still down, I will say. Again, maybe he landed awkwardly like Tarkowski. He'll watch it back. As Rob said, Manu just comes across the front of him and brings him down. I don't see him doing anything that Manu does to him. He does go down a bit of a screen, does the young French forward, and he's still down. He's slowly getting back up. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It didn't look like it was a shoulder or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's wasting a bit of time. I'm not too sure. Looks like it'll be okay to continue, but looks a little bit shaken up, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know if he landed on his hand. He's got his hand bandaged up. Might have just landed on it. I presume it's bandaged up for a legitimate reason. that might well hurt. Not quite Gary Lineker at 86 in a cast, but there's certainly bandage on his right hand. He's back on the sidelines now, and he's actually taken his jersey off, but I think there's a problem with the jersey rather than taking his jersey off because he's going to be subbed, because he was turned facing the action. I think he's just been turned around by the Everton staff. Free kick down, and Everton are down to 10 men at the moment. It's their free kick as Garner aims it into the box. Branthwaite nods down, and it's volleyed clear by Mano into Tarkowski, who's in front of him. So the throw-in will be Manchester United. But strange game. We're past the halfway point of the first half. Not a great deal of goal-mouth action. Horror mistake from Lamon's got away with it, and then a decent save from Pickford. Other than that, it's been a midfield battle which United have dominated the possession of. Past the halfway point, as mentioned. Here's Lewis.
Cheers, Robbie. You're right. It's not been too much goal-mouth action. You said that. I think you're spot on there. Barry is still off the field. As you said about his wrist was wrapped up. Also, he's taken his jersey off, as you said. He's back on the field now. He also seemed to have his shoulder and under his right arm, not bandaged up, but almost wrapped up and tightened up there. So that might be an injury he's already come into the game that is not going to keep him out. But as you say, you fall on something that's already injured, and you feel a bit of the pain there. As I say, it's back on the field. Everton have a throw-in on the right-hand side, which is played poorly, and Maguire intercepts. He plays it long to him, Birmingham. That's going to be a long night for the former Brentford forward if he's up against the likes of Tarkowski and Keane with long balls there. Falls for Cunha in the middle, plays it out to the right to Delors. Quite high in the press at the moment are the Toffees. Yoro, he said, was a difficult opening few moments for former Lille man, but he's done well, and as soon as I say that goes to the commentator. He takes a heavy touch and he loses the ball, but that was a good press on once again from Everton. They take the throw in on the left hand side rather quickly. Garnagay into Armstrong, back to Budham. Far on the right hand side, eliminating Dye, but slows it down. And again, as you said about the touches and poor passes from United, you spot on. The reason why we highlight them is because they've had more of the ball. Everton haven't been exactly fantastic on it either, but I feel there's a bit of a slowness about the game. Look at the ball from Keane from left to right, looking for the run of Ndiaye. I think he takes it down well, but then his second touch is poor. It just feels like this game's at a bit of a slower pace, and as you said, with teams having basically 2 weeks of rest and getting ready for this game, I'm shocked that there's not been a higher tempo to this first half.
No, well, they're not playing well. They're not controlling it. They're not passing as they might have done. So I guess they've slowed it down a little bit. I mean, that started straight from the kickoff. Yes, the kickoff found the goalkeeper, but then it's a charge down clearance. And we've seen at the other end, the layoffs, the intricate attempts to pass the ball are just not happening. Mano's lost the possession there. It wasn't a great ball to him from Diallo. Here goes Ndiaye. He's trying to beat on all comers. He goes down under a bit of pressure at the edge of the box. Outnumbered, says the referee, rather than fouled, and it is cleared. But it's scrappy play. And Diallo with his passing, he's been as terrible as anybody, because 4 or 5 times it's a simple pass that he's under-hit. It's too many times. And Manchester United haven't been able to settle.
No, they haven't. Cunha's on the ball now. Once again, he's forced to go very infield from the left-hand side. Plays back to Maguire now to Shaw. A little bit of space here on the left for the Red Devils. Manu for passes is Fernandez. The front four for United really playing quite poorly early on. Casemiro, that's a bad pass. Poor behind Manu. A couple of players just looking at each other saying, where's the run, where's the movement? Fernandez into Casemiro, tries to turn and play it forward. Dewsbury Hall's there, and Fernandez drops back to pick the ball up and almost says, right, let me get on the ball, let me see the scenery, let me have a look at things, and let me try and create something. Diallo on the left hand side for the moment. As we spoke about that front four, it's very fluid. Sometimes Fernandez pops up on the right and Birmingham on the left, for example. Delors takes a few heavy touches in the middle. He's dispossessed. That's poor. Barry, great pass to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall, then back to Barry. That's a poor pass. And Yoro with an even worse pass. No one's really connecting with passes in this game. Everyone looks a little bit off of the boil. Picked up though by Armstrong. Barry goes back to Garnagay and again goes even further back to Keane. You just want a forward pass that's a successful forward pass in a meaningful way in this game so far. Garner played it right back. I know he's filled in there a lot of times, filled in at left back, and he's been impressive when in a more central role. Tarkowski, that earlier injury, if you will, when he went down, doesn't seem to have bothered him too much, and he's running around freely now. Lovely ball from Pickford. I thought at first to the left to Bramthwaite. He then tries to bring down Casemiro. Referee says advantage, and Casemiro plays a dangerous ball into Diallo. He'll find the Ivorian though. Now Fernandes on the right hand side picks it up. He's looking for runners. There's no one giving him an option. Everton did well to defend it, but you just could see him lifting his arms up and asking his teammates, where are you? Where's the run? Manu loses it, then wins it back. It's really scrappy in the middle between the two sides. Maguire wins it off of Barry. No one can really hold the ball for more than 10 seconds. Here comes Fernandes. Flicks it past Dewsbury Hall. Into Casemiro. Looking for the run of Cunha in the penalty area. Dewsbury Hall picks it up. Casemiro tries to take it off his feet there, and there might be a bit of space for Everton. Armstrong, there's space to move into. Barry's vacated the middle and has gone to the left, so Armstrong can cut inside. Dewsbury Hall back out to Barry on the left hand side. Can he drive into the penalty area? So a 1-on-1 against Delon. Plays it to the edge for Garner Gay. Dewsbury Hall tries to flick it back to Garner Gay. Right now this game is, we're still waiting for chances, but it's a little bit more opened up, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I only think it's opened up when Everton counter. Manchester United are struggling. I think they're getting outnumbered. They're not quite playing as they might have done against other teams. You can see more blue shirts around an attempted pass by Manchester United than red. I think they're far too disparate, spread out, and they just get outnumbered in the end. And then you throw in the fact they're not passing to each other. You've got a problem. And then, of course, Everton counter it. They probably don't get enough blue shirts forward. Another good challenge by Branthwaite. Well, he won the ball, but the ball was still going in the direction of Diallo, and of course Branthwaite's then tugged Diallo. So this is a free kick in a dangerous area, out wide. He made the first interception, didn't quite take it cleanly, and then the arm comes out. You might argue that's a yellow card.
Yeah, Alison, so I thought Diallo, because as you say, he wins the ball at first with his studs and doesn't bring it away with him as he gets back to his feet, and then he just pulls the jersey of the Ivorian. So as you said, I'm shocked that isn't a yellow card. Maybe it's that middle ground where the refs just said to him, right, that's your warning. But this is a big free kick for United. They've one of the top set piece goal scorers in the division this season. No, they're not maybe the Kings and Arsenal are, but they have scored a lot of set pieces. Second in the table, Arsenal 19, Manchester United with 15. Can they make it 16 now? Fernandes, he's a top assist maker in his last 9 league away games. He's got 10 goal involvements. Can he grab another one this evening from this free kick? Swings it into the front post. It's Paul. Falls for Delon outside the area. Goes for a strike. It's wide, but no one closed him down. I've seen him score goals out before. Away at Bramall Lane, he scored a great goal a few years ago outside the area. Unfortunately, I mean, it's even closer actually watching it from behind. It's one of them where he's always hitting it in terms of on his laces to the right of his right boot, so he's always slicing wide. But I don't blame him for going for a strike as it opened up for him there.
No, he's got to go for a strike because, I mean, that cross there, I mean, obviously you look at what Bruno Fernandes does and has done and continues to do for Manchester United, you think, yes, they've got a chance here, but it's a poor free kick, and it's a better position to deliver a ball than where Dalot had the ball. So he's running onto it, it's bounced up nicely, have a crack, not that far wide. But I mean, it's been a real sort of breakdown in the final third for both sides, more so Manchester United because they've had more of the ball. But yeah, it's surprising that excuse that other people gave, not Michael Carrick, that he just, at the time, 2 games in quick succession, they don't have that excuse. They're not playing well. They're not playing quite as a team. Everton are defending well and they're defending as a unit, but they're offering nothing going forward, particularly. And it's a real struggle to watch.
At the moment, it is, with no real quality in front of goal. Maybe it takes something from a player like Diallo on the ball now, trying to take on Bramthwaite. Into the middle goes to Manu, turns on the ball, Casemiro. Maybe that attack will open up for United here. Manu tries to take it past a few too many. Ball's taken off of him. Maybe he could have slid it into Diallo there for an opportunity. Then Manu tries to shrug Bunnan off the ball. He doesn't do that to the former Villa man, much bigger Bunnan than Manu. So Everton won it back. Tarkowski out to the right to Bunham. Himself and just kind of gears are 2 holders, but they'll be given advantage to come forward when they can. Lovely 1-2 have been dying. It's opened up as Rob said, seems to be no midfield for United in this game when the press is beaten. Barry out to Branthwaite on the left. Can he swing a ball in? He can. It's a poor one and blocked away by Delors. Looks like it'll be a throw-in and possibly a long one, and maybe this is how Everton get involved with little set pieces like this.
Well, I mean, they're not being threatened, and it's too easy to get down the field. If you go, it's Ruben Amorim days, isn't it? In the sense that, well, United have got the ball on the edge of the box. All of a sudden, Branthwaite's crossing it in. It's too easy, and if Manchester United don't wake up, Everton are, going to start attacking a little bit more. You'd think that at some point they're going to see a bit more of the ball anyway, but I think United are trying to be too clever for their own good. None of them are playing well with the ball, and that's just giving it back to Everton, as well as costing attacking positions.
Armstrong coming forward down the left-hand side. Ganagay looks to switch it from left to right for Ndiaye. Decent ball, maybe the execution was poor and a bit too much height on it as Shaw comes over to head it away out of danger for a throw-in. Just over 33.5 minutes played, approaching 34 minutes, just over 10 minutes until half-time. It's independent off-tube studio commentary of Premier League action this Monday evening from the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Biggest talking point really was for a Diallo chance, saved by Pickford and cleared away by Tarkowski. Bar that, we've had very little in terms of goal mouth action. As Rob said earlier, summed it up, it's been a battle in midfield, and it's also been a poor piece of play from either side. United have had most of the ball but have been poor on it. Everton haven't showed enough going forward. Casemiro, that's a poor pass into Manu, but that's a poor header as well from the United youngster Armstrong. To get in the middle, but they're looking a bit more confident on the ball. Do Everton at the moment. That's a heavy pass for Dewsbury Hall. Delors will get there first, and this is where United, I think, need to move it just a little bit quicker. Bunnan pulls Casemiro down. I could even argue that I don't think it's a yellow card, but from a cynical point of view, it might have been. As you said earlier, Rob, I'm surprised that Branthwaite wasn't a yellow card as well. But what it seems to be, and you were right about the midfield, it seems to be that almost a 4-4-2, if you will. But Manu pushes really high off the ball, to almost be closer to Fernandes and Casemiro. So once it goes past Fernandes and Manu, Casemiro's on his own little island, which he can't cover the middle of the pitch by himself.
No, and when they've got possession at the back four, they're looking for that ball into the middle, be it Casemiro or somebody else. And of course, Everton spot that and go, well, there's only Casemiro, so we'll go and swarm Casemiro. And they're just not playing as they have done. They're all over the place. They're too stretched. They've got a chance here though with Mbeumo right at the D. Edge
of the area, pulls the trigger, and it goes wide of the mark. I thought he'd take too many touches there. It's a nice little ball into Delors. They'd opened Everton up for the first time there. Took one too many touches. I think maybe he could have played it back to Delors. Branthwaite was getting back in a good position. To give him credit, his strike goes wide and it's poor. It's Mbeumo's first real sniff of a chance, but I think he should, for me, doing much better there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got the shot off. I don't think he took it quite cleanly. And just for a moment, there's a pocket of space. He'd be really frustrated after 36 minutes just about now of action, because obviously he's playing that sort of free number 9 type role, but United aren't getting him the ball. Diallo's done nothing going forward. He's not exactly even been a target. And of course, we've seen even less of Cunha. I think Fernandes and Manu are playing too far ahead of Casemiro, and they're just losing the ball too quickly. I've got to credit Everton's game plan. Okay, they haven't looked like they're going to score anytime soon, but they haven't looked like they're going to concede too many either, and of course they've had second best possession.
Moving forward now, 1-2 between Cunha and Fernandes. Out to Shaw on the left. It's a ball, and it's not a great one though, and it's easily cleared away by Tarkowski. All the way to Maguire. That's a poor header, just nods it out of play for a throw, and I think he struggled early on as well. Seeing pictures of Michael Carrick on the technical area. He spoke about substitutions. We won't say in the first half, maybe at half time. It's something that the former Borough boss might think about, looking at the bench for United in terms of attackers. Like Xerxes, Sesko's been a player who's come off the bench a lot of times for United. Apart from that, it's quite a young bench. Likes of Morehouse, Tyler Fletcher, as well. Aidan Heaven, of course, he's a bit more of an experienced player than the rest of them. You'd have to say that United do have options, and Sesko could be called upon in the second half. But Everton coming forward down the left with Dewsbury Hall. No one closing him down at all. That was pretty poor. And Burma trying to get back. I don't know where Diallo is in terms of tracking his man down the right-hand side. Dewsbury Hall whips one and it's blocked away, but it falls back for him. Headed away out of the penalty area by Yoro. That's a poor pass out to the right to Garner, but he does well to keep a hold of it. The referee's brought it back for a foul on Idrissa Gana Gueye anyway, and it will be a free kick for Everton. Again, the last time they had it, a little bit closer in, very central and very narrow here. I don't know if it's a foul. I think Diallo maybe a bit clumsy, maybe a bit frustration. I'm not too sure, but again, a set piece. You've got Barry wasn't on the field for the last one, for example. They've got a lot of heights.
Yeah, they've got a bit of height. It's a bit central, the free kick, in the sense, even if they do win the header, are they going to get the pace? I thought that was a soft foul. You looked at the next incident. Garner rides a challenge and keeps hold of the ball. Seemingly, some players play a bit of contact, some players don't. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't a free kick, but Garner wasn't playing as if contact meant it was a free kick. This is probably too far out to go for goal, but yeah, it's probably a bit too straight. Having said that, Garner can strike a free kick. I still think this is too far out, but he has gone for goal, and it's clutched by Lamens. First real shot in anger from Everton. It's not a bad strike, it's hit the target, easy, a comfortable save.
Well, as you said though, he wasn't very confident earlier, was Lamens, so maybe Garner's thought, you know what, let's test the keeper. Maybe, again, he holds it well, clutches it well, as you said, but we've seen keepers spill that. Barry was there, wasn't he, for maybe a rebound as well. Pressing high up the field here, Everton as United look to play their way out of trouble. Maguire just kicks it long, looking for Fernandes. Heavy touch from the United skipper. I said earlier, he's not got in the game at all. Not many United players have. Cunha goes in to win the ball. Goes flying, does Garner, wins the ball, does Cunha. I think the referee, he'll look at the referee saying it's not a foul, it's a throw, and I touched it last, of course, but he's not had many touches, as Rob said earlier as well. That front four have really struggled so far for United, and in the previous 5 games under Carrick, they've all looked very good and very confident. So a bit of a shock at the moment, it has to be said. Throw in for the Toffees on the right. Barrett into Njayan. Shaw brings him down there. Kind of very silly tackle, and Dye's going absolutely nowhere, and Shaw just kicks him really on the back of the left ankle to try and go for the ball. I think that's pretty poor from the left back there. Dye pulls it back from the right to the left, but very slow reactions, you'd have to say, from Luke Shaw. And another free kick opportunity. Maybe this one's better to really swing it in and get some pace on it. Yeah,
I think it's an opportunity to win a header. I think the other one was too straight. Maybe that's why Garner went for goal, because it's 30 plus yards, that free kick before. This one, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, of course, Keane, big targets that could be utilised, give a chance to attack it inside the final 5 minutes of the first half. Hasn't got going yet, but maybe Everton sniffing an opportunity to start threatening.
It's really wide on the right hand side. Garner with the right boot will swing it in. Heads go up. Like Tarkowski was there, as Rob said, cleared away by a combination of Yoro and Maguire. In Burmu tried to take it past Branthwaite. A little bit too lightweight was in Burmu there. Easily just shrugged off by Branthwaite. Not a foul at all. Good defending from the Everton left back. They've got it back now in their own half, with Dewsbury Hall back to Pickford. Just under 5 minutes plus any stoppage time to go in the first half here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. As Rob said about the reverse fixture, covering that one, it was already 1-0 to the Toffees, and Everton down to 10 men, but the Dewsbury Hall goal was already happening in this game. They were already 1-0 up. Big chance there for Diallo. Poor pass into the feet of Fernandes, and I think that pass, it was an opening. It wasn't a one-on-one or anything like that, but I think that pass has maybe summed up United in the first half. Well,
it's just one of many. He can't find a teammate. There's no getting away from that. Bruno Fernandes has hardly got going. Cunha's had an anonymous game, and of course Mbemo is the highest player up the field, and of course he needs the ball. I mean, I don't know what the game plan is. As I say, the 6 forward players, or the 5 forward players behind Mbemo, they're too far away from each other. It's easy to dispossess them. Yes, they've got a move going once or twice, but they've had 70% of the ball. They're going to get close to the area at some point. Other than that, they're all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Carrick made a couple of changes at the break, as Garner comes down the right-hand side. His cross blocked behind. That will be a corner kick, and so a set-piece chance for Everton. They can thrive on these. They certainly pose a danger. Of course, we said that when we did Bournemouth, and it was Bournemouth who scored the headed set-piece goals, not Everton. But we know that Everton have got that threat at the very least.
100%. And as well, they gained momentum when they got that goal against Bournemouth, didn't they? That gained momentum, and I think they are doing so. Back end of the first half right now. Barry trying to make a nuisance of himself with the goalkeeper and Mainu. It will be an in-swinger from Dewsbury Hall, Garner and Garner Gate on the edge of the area, they are unmarked. There's a lot of space there if it does rebound to them. Comes in right on the goalkeeper, it's punched away by Lemens. Cunha puts his boot for it to clear it away. Diallo was just chasing to chase it down. Ball to the right hand side. Dewsbury Hall with a great touch. Ball into the box. Cleared away by Cunha. Great backtracking from the Brazilian there. Quickly taken is the throw in though. Not a long one this time. Dewsbury Hall trying to take it quickly and whip a ball in, maybe because he knows bodies are up there. But it falls for Casemiro. Could there be a counter attack on here? Ball played forward to him. Bermu. Once again, as you said, Rob, one of many passes that haven't worked there. Hits it with his right foot. It's always going to go central or to the left. I know he's right-footed, but you're a professional footballer. I think you should be able to hit that on the left and curl it into the feet of Berman.
Yeah, I'm not blaming Casemiro, largely because he's doing the bulk of the defending in that midfield area on his own. Maybe Diallo was running into a bit of traffic. You can sense the gap, but I didn't. Once the pass was played, I thought Mbemo had a chance, but he didn't necessarily commit to it early enough. And Pickford was outside of his area, of course, and Mbemo probably saw that. But yeah, it's not working for Manchester United. I think Diallo has not played well today. I think Fernandes and Cunha have been anonymous, but Diallo's had the ball and he keeps giving it away. Cunha's just been dispossessed by a great challenge from Garner. I don't think Cunha or Fernandes have seen as much of the ball as Diallo, and Diallo hasn't played well. I wouldn't be surprised if Šeško came on and Mbeumo to the right. As it happens at this particular moment, and Mbeumo's on the right with Diallo through the middle. I'm not sure that's ever going to work.
No, that's the first time we've really seen that. I know there's a lot of fluidity to that front four, but you're right. Sometimes they moved up and they quickly moved back. For the last minute or two, maybe even more, it's been Diallo who's been the central figure next to Fernandes. I think even Cunha's looked very good when he's been up front as well. Mainu winning, what you consider maybe a soft foul against Dewsbury Hall, both going shoulder to shoulder, and Mainu is the one who goes down, wins a free kick. Less than 30 seconds left of this first half. Still goalless. Can't imagine there's too much stoppage time. There was a stoppage for Barry's injury. Apart from that, we haven't had too many stoppages, so maybe 1-2 minutes. In the other game this evening, catch on this service, League 2 action, Walsall and MK Dons. MK Dons are 1-0 up. Of course, that kicked off at 8 o'clock as well, so they'll be going to half-time as we are going as well. So far in the game, 2 shots for Everton, 1 on target, 6 for United, only the 2 on target. They'll want much more than that. Mainu on the ball in the middle. We played 45 minutes. Is he brought down? Yes, he is. So free kick for United. Will they take it quickly, or will they look the ball in the box? 3 minutes of stoppage time, and of course, I'm not saying you never want to score a goal, but United, I think the last 3 minutes, they'll want that chance to get a big one, test the keeper, of course try and take the lead, because it's been a poor first half for the Red Devils.
Yeah, you wouldn't count on it, because the couple of crosses that we've seen haven't been good. Maguire's gone up, so there is a bit of presence there. Lenny Yoro also in attendance. Free kick coming up.
Plays it wide to Diallo. He'll pick it up as well. He's got a chance one-on-one with Bramthwaite. Delo's there as an option to go back. Plays it to Fernandes on the edge of the area. He's asking for it taking a deflection. He is furious. He does love to have a moan at the referee, does the Portuguese midfielder. Set up nicely for him. He just gets underneath it and gets over it. Again, I don't think it took a deflection, like to me. There was just a little bit too much on it there, and it comes to nothing once again. And United still yet to test Pickford for quite a while now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that lacked a bit of confidence. It sounds like I'm having a go at Diallo, but he's one-on-one with Bramthwaite. One-on-one, edge of the box. He could turn him one way or the other. You'd think he's quicker off the mark. Didn't want to. Whether it took a deflection off is difficult to tell from, obviously, just a picture. Obviously, the referee is closer to it. Might have heard noise. Clearly, he didn't. But yeah, Diallo, I thought he could have taken Bramthwaite into the area and forced him to make a challenge. The last time he had a sort of one-on-one situation, he sort of beat Bramthwaite and then won the foul. Bramthwaite isn't going to do that in the 18-yard box because it'll be a penalty. But yeah, he's lacking a bit of confidence. I'm not surprised. The first 47 minutes, he hasn't played well.
No, he hasn't, but you are right. I thought he was going to pick that ball up, take his man on, or dink an early cross into the box. I thought that was what they were trying to do. United had a throw-in and they've quickly given it away for another throw-in in very much the same area. 2 minutes of the 3 minutes of stoppage time have been played, so at the moment, looks like we will be going into half-time goalless. Haven't had a real big chance to do it. Bramthwaite took an absolute margin there of of walking forward, taking that throw in. You don't see that charged at all, do you, nowadays with the referees? Ball goes out of play. Yoro just tries to usher it out. Barry maybe with an unnecessary bit of push and pressure on Yoro, but it will be a goal kick to the Red Devils. I imagine Le Mans might just go long from this and half-time might come shortly, but I think right, it wouldn't surprise me if what you said. Sesko one for Diallo, and Burma on the right, Cunha on the left, Fernandez just in behind Sesko. And so had a bit more of a 9 and a goal scoring threat for the Red Devils.
Yeah, I mean, it's harsh picking on Diallo, but he's probably seen more of the ball than others. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's in your interpretation. I think it's a bad thing because he's seen more of the ball and he hasn't done anything. He's given the ball away, his passing's been poor, and now he seems reluctant to take on his man. And the half-time whistle goes. Pretty disappointing first half. Everton might take that because they offered very little. At the break, it's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Le Mans, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it as shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Le Mans, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it as shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Le Mans, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it as shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Le Mans, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it as shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Le Mans, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it as shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Le Mans, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it as shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half-time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cooney saw a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United worked it back to Lemens, and his clearance was charged down. Went well wide of the post, but that could have been an embarrassing start. United didn't create too much. They did have one little period of attack. Cunha saw it, a shot blocked. Diallo hooked it towards goal, saved by Pickford and cleared off the line by Tarkowski. Other than that, shots were from distance. 0-0. Half time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Pretty poor first half. There was almost drama right from the kick-off. Manchester United. Well, a warm welcome back to our coverage of the action taking place at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Goalless at half time between Everton and Manchester United. The game probably deserved a goalless first half. Everton played the sort of defensive role, trying to make it difficult for Manchester United, and they did. Manchester United didn't get anything going. They weren't allowed to, and very few chances in the game. United credited with 2 shots on target. One of those was possibly the shot from Cunha, which got blocked by Diallo. Second half is underway. Doesn't look as though any changes were made. Hit long downfield, cleared away by Luke Shaw. Picked up by Tarkowski on the halfway line. Can't go back to his keeper, so he just plays it down the channel. And Barry's won the first header and the second. Finds Ndai. Now it's with Garner. Ndai, little 1-2. Cunha might have left his mark, but Ndai's turned Casemiro. Pulls it back to the edge of the D. Dewsbury Hall squares it to the side. Shot comes in. Saved by Lemens. Armstrong it was. They worked that opening so nicely. He's inside the penalty area. Probably a couple of yards left of the penalty spot. Maybe a bit tentative, the shot, but it is a good chance.
Oh, it's a lovely chance, a lovely build-up, as you said. I think the pass from Dewsbury Hall is on the money. I think Armstrong, again, I don't think it's the worst shot, but as you said, he just kind of, he places it, but places it right at the goalkeeper, doesn't he? He don't really pick a corner out. If he maybe goes to the front post or the far post, fair enough, but that was great play from Ndai. And then I think Dewsbury Hall almost suckers everyone in that he's going to go for a strike. Plays it to Armstrong, could have even taken a touch and played it down the byline for Bramthwaite. But that's a good move from Everton. Good start from the Toffees, and United still looking a little bit off the pace there.
No changes at the break, as I mentioned, so it's as you were. For Everton, it's just come back to that because Maguire's mopping up for Manchester United. A little bit of hesitation at the back. It's a long punt downfield, but Manchester United do win it back on the halfway line, although I don't think Cunha was expecting the pass from Fernandes. And now Everton come forward with Barry. Feeds it into Idrissa Gueye, who stumbled over the ball, but there isn't a red shirt anywhere near him. And so he's able to regather his footing and keep the attack alive. It's on the left with Armstrong, who's just had that shot. Idrissa Gueye, Dewsbury Hall, back to the left-hand side. Armstrong, back to Dewsbury Hall. Time and space, cross in towards the far post. Luke Shaw heads away, only to Iridbunam. Heads it across to Garner, heads it into the box to Ndai. Just turns out of the area to get it clear. Good possession play for the Toffees. Shot comes in from Iridbunam. It's deflected away. Luke Shaw clears right-footed, and Burmo tries to win the first header, but they're not. There's second to every ball at the moment. Manchester United, Everton all over wherever the ball is, and Dewsbury Hall left edge of the area. Back to Armstrong, who's again got time and space. Manchester United are playing a training game. It's played into the box. Lovely little triangle. Armstrong back to goal. Barry tried a little back heel. It didn't quite work, and it's hammered away by Luke Shaw. But I don't know what message Michael Carrick sent out with his Manchester United players, but it clearly was not to get out of first gear.
Yeah, they've been really poor in his opening, closing in on 3 minutes of the second half. Like I say, they're not winning balls. Playing long balls forward to win Birmingham up against Tarkowski and Keane. He's never going to win them. Coming forward again with Keane. Yeah, United are clearing away those chances. Shaw has it. So he'll win a soft free kick there. It's very lucky for me. I don't think it was a free kick at all, but they always are given. He's lucky there. And they usually take a free kick, take a breather, get on the ball, because Everton have been fantastic and United have easily been second best.
Yeah, it is soft, but it's silly from, we criticise other players for just making a silly foul. 2 hands in the back. Okay, it's not the biggest push in the world, but I mean, everybody can see it. Luke Shaw's taken the touch and gone down. Every player does that. I mean, it's silly, really, from Garner. I do remember an incident where he did that on the edge of the box, having been yellow carded. He got away with that one a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't Bournemouth, I think it was the match before, but yeah, it's needlessly giving Manchester United the opportunity to clear their lines. Manchester United haven't really got going in the second half. Good chance for Armstrong. Everton's best so far, because the other one was a 30-plus yard free kick, and Bomo is trying to keep Tarkowski honest. He has cleared his lines, not very well, but then Fernandes tries a first-time pass, which is under-hit, not for the first time, and it's smashed away by Tarkowski, getting back to his feet. Bit of head tennis follows, but it's picked up by Dewsbury Hall, who's being chased by Diallo up to a point, then tries to thread it into the box to the run of Ndai, slightly overhit through to Lamens, but I don't even know what position Manchester United are playing at the moment. Who's playing where? I would be making changes if I'm Michael Carrick.
Yeah, I feel like you said in the first half, I feel for Casemiro, he's having to cover so much in that midfield, isn't he? And again, I can only imagine that's something from Carrick, with Manu pressing a little bit higher to push the press and help out Fernandes. I can only imagine that's again coming from the coaching staff, but that just puts us, we spoke about the first half, Casemiro on such an island. United have it a little bit further up the field, but again, they're so well drilled out there, Everton. When you play a poor pass like that, Fernandes has been poor, and you want to keep him on the field, but he hasn't been good this evening. But here, Buck comes the ball.
Yeah, Maynard whips it into the box, and it was teed up in the air by a sliding Tarkowski. The ball was between, this is inside the 6-yard box, the ball's between Tarkowski and Pickford, and Bemo got on the end of it. He's absolutely lashed it, but it's got over the bar. A great play from Maynard to win it back. A good ball in. Tarkowski thought he'd read the danger. The angle isn't fantastic, I suppose, on Mbemo, but that's not a bad chance, let's say that.
No, it's not a bad chance at all. As you're saying, yeah, it's coming up from quite a decent angle in terms of awkwardness, and as you say, Pickford's rushing out. You can probably see that if you're in Birmingham, just on your outer vision, and you've got to focus on the ball, and as you said, just think it gets underneath, he gets too much power on it, doesn't he? Maybe again just try and get it on target, and maybe it goes past Pickford, who's rushing out of his net. Maybe that's your best chance. But what you have to do there if you are United now is get the momentum, start going forward a bit more, because Everton have come out fantastic from the break. So take the momentum and take it into the rest of the second half now.
Into the 52nd minute, 0-0. Obviously United starting the day in 5th place. Chelsea picking up a draw. They've got a better goal difference. Channel ball from Casemiro has got Dalot in behind Branthwaite. He's actually headed it into the path of Branthwaite. Branthwaite's only cleared it back to Dalot. Played into the box to Diallo. He's facing the wrong way at the moment. Casemiro tries a shot, or was it a pass? It was half deflected by Bruno Fernandes in the D. I don't know if Casemiro is going for goal 30 yards out. It might have just been trying to ping it into the feet of his skipper. Didn't quite work for a moment. This game's got a little bit more up tempo. As I'm saying that, it's slowed down by Lenny Yoro, going back to Lamens. Back to Yoro, and now Kobe Mayo infield to Casemiro. Of course, the attack started by Dalot breaking down the right-hand side. We haven't seen either of the United fullbacks get forward too often. Cunha very deep at the moment. And he's going to get a foul off Garner. Again, Garner is complaining, but if you're going to grip the shirt, it's clear that Cunha is trying to make it obvious that he's gripped the shirt. I would let go of the shirt. He didn't. And, of course, eventually the free kick's given, which is already taken to Cunha, who's got 2 to beat. He tried to use his strength to hold off Garner, but then Tarkowski stepped in. And it is cleared up to the halfway line, brought down on his chest by Barry. Now he turns, finds a little bit of space for Dewsbury Hall. Closed down by Casemiro, tries to do a Cruyff turn. He checks back into Diallo, though. Got a bit isolated there, did Dewsbury Hall. And now the break is potentially on, but it's a hospital pass played by Fernandez to Diallo. Another strong challenge from Tarkowski. He's actually tackled the ball to Mainu. I don't think Diallo appreciated that one because he hasn't got going in a forward position yet. Ball is fed up to him. Bemo tries to turn. Poor touch from him. And it's eventually cleared. Again, Barry brings down the ball on the halfway line. Mainu manages to track back. I really can't understand what Manchester United are doing. It's very standoffish for a side that wants to dominate the play. They're having the most of the ball, but their defending is quite poor.
It is, and again they're trying to maybe move it a bit quicker. Delo's trying to get further forward. He plays it to Fernandez, ball into the box. That's a poor one, easily intercepted by Gallagher. I think that's well the problem for me is there's no one near each other for United. They all look isolated. Delo's on the right, there's no one near him. Apart from the back three they're almost creating with Shaw, Yoro and McGuire, with Mainu and Casemiro. They're quite close together, but that front foray of players, there's no one near him, and it's quite poor. But here come United.
It's Dalot making the run again. He's got him behind. Got to find a teammate now. It's blocked by Keane near post. There's only Diallo. Bruno Fernandes was arriving, but he wasn't quite in the box. Diallo couldn't get there. Good run from Dalot again. Now it's with Diallo on the right wing. Onto his left foot. Comes back inside to Kobe Mainu. Maybe 35 yards from goal. Casemiro might swing in across. He does. Headed towards goal. Well wide of the post by Bemo. And glancing off the top of his head, Cunha doesn't like it. He's walking away. I think Mbemo wants to say something to him. Looking at a replay, if that goal had gone in before, maybe Dalot had actually gone a fraction too soon and was offside. It was better from Manchester United. It's come from a runner down the wing twice in 2 minutes.
100%. But I think what United were doing very well a couple of weeks ago, I thought was very good at least, as you spoke about full-back runs. That's what they were doing before. They're not doing it tonight, as you say. Shaw was overlapping Cunha, Delors was overlapping Diallo on the right hand side, and it almost gave a bit of width there. That's poor from Diallo. Here come the Toffees.
Yeah, cross in from Dewsbury Hall. It's overcooked. He tried to pick out the two towards the far post. It was a 2-on-2 situation, but he got underneath it, did Dewsbury Hall, and that's gone high over the bar. Frustrations for Everton, because after a bright start, they were just under a little bit of pressure there. And well, that's certainly a welcome confidence boost in the sense that they had a chance to attack. Admittedly, it stemmed from a mistake from Dalot. Long ball downfield, but Mbemo is outnumbered. Oh, and then he's gone down, running into the back of Tarkowski. Tarkowski's just shepherding the ball into the area so Pickford can pick it up. And Mbomo's run into him. Didn't see anything necessarily sinister. A slow-mo might change it. It's a bit of energy at least, trying to close down the ball, because not seeing a lot of energy from Cunha, Fernandez, Diallo. I keep picking out on those three, but they're behind Mbemo.
No, you're spot on there. Only thing you'd say is maybe an elbow from Tarkowski. I don't think so, but it might be looked at, to be honest, because Tarkowski, he puts his shoulder in and maybe his elbow in as well. I think you're right though. That's what you want to see from Mbemo, closing it down there. I think it's a bit aggressive from Tarkowski. I don't see what's wrong with it. If Birmingham's there, you just stand in your ground. Maybe it goes a little bit too much into him, but you know, if you're in Birmingham, you've got to expect that. He's not just going to let you get the ball. He's going to stand there and stand firm and stand his ground. But you just spoke about in Birmingham and Cunha looking at each other there. That just always looks like they're frustrated with each other, doesn't it? Sesko looks like he's suited and booted too. Come on. It's just about, you spoke about Diallo, yes, but also none of them being that impressive that you could see how all of them could stay on.
Diallo's down the right-hand side. It wasn't a great first touch. He's just been put under pressure now by Dewsbury Hall. He still has it. Was he pulled back? No, he wasn't. He's trying to keep it in. He's gone behind. And it will be a goal kick. Good defending from Dewsbury Hall. Well, I just got a piece of Diallo's shirt there. I think it was 6-1. I say that because Diallo's shirt is clearly ripped, and Diallo, that was his last involvement. He is going to be replaced. I'm not surprised in many ways. You can't have a great game every night. I just think in that first half, he probably saw more of the ball, and he just gave it away too many times. Whether seeing the ball is better than not, giving it away is better than not seeing it and doing nothing. I don't know, but clearly Carrick has decided Diallo isn't having his best day.
No, I think you're right. It is one of them, isn't it? Is it worse that, say, Cunha and Fernandes have had less, and have done less, but have had less to do with? Or is it worse, as you said, Diallo, yes, he's had the ball, had chances, and has done nothing with his chances? I'd say it's what you said. I'd say, well, Diallo's had the opportunity, much with it. You'd say that Cunha would say, well, I've been given the chance, well, I'm coming off. And he would say as well, Diallo scored a lot of important goals for United, but Cunha has as well at the Emirates, for example, hasn't with that last-minute winner. So maybe he's got a bit more experience to keep on. And Burma, who's a real goal scorer from his time at Brentford, there's more goals on the field now, especially with an out-and-out number 9 with Sk.
Chance for Everton to come forward. Little backheel flick attempted by Idris again, perhaps trying to run before he could walk. It was half cleared, half intercepted by Mbemo, where it just got away from him into touch. So the throw-in is Everton's with the hour mark approaching. Obviously still 0-0, not too many clear-cut chances. Might only take one now in this contest. Everton have really stopped Manchester United from playing. Good defensive performance. It's not defensive in the sense of 10 men behind the ball. I think the press in midfield has really swarmed the ball carrier. No time on the ball. And United haven't quite settled down. It's weird saying that with 60 minutes just about on the clock. They haven't worked out a game plan to counter it, which will be a frustration. Whether Everton can turn this situation now into some kind of opportunity to win, you never quite know, as Dewsbury Hall puts in a sliding challenge on Lenny Yoro. And again, it's not defending as in the edge of their own box, but Lenny Yoro wants time and space. He's not got it.
No, and that's great from Dewsbury Hall, and you could see the fans in the stands. They'll give him a big round of applause and a big cheer for that, because that's what you want to see, your players giving it their all, closing down the man. As you said, Yoro wants space, I'm not going to give it to you. And they've looked very good as well on the ball, I think, Everton. Yes, they've had less of it, and they've got a more direct game plan than United, but when they get on the ball, I don't think they look half bad at all. And when you get into the likes of a Dewsbury Hall, and especially in Dyer, they look really good to the Toffees. United, what I will say now, those long balls, yes, Keane just beat Sk there, but because of the pressure from Sk, the header in as well, and United do win the second ball.
Cunha down the left-hand side. Fernandes is trying to go on the overlap, perhaps not quite as quick as Cunha. Cunha slows it down. Fernandes has it 20 yards out near the corner flag, though. In line with the corner flag, should I say. Maino closed down quickly, has to go back to Casemiro. Not a great first touch from Shaw, but they still have possession. They're trying to work the triangles, dig down the channel. Ghana will get there ahead of Mainu, and should be able to clear up towards the halfway line. Beyond the halfway line, he's got a bit of slice on it, but it will stay within the width of the 18-yard box. Barry gives up closing that one down, because it was a clearance, not a pass, and it's all the way through to Lamens. Manchester United start again inside the final 30 minutes at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. 30 minutes of the 90, of course. With a point, United would go back fourth. Obviously, they wouldn't extend their advantage before this round of fixtures over Chelsea, and it has allowed Liverpool, should this result stay as it is, to close up. As lucky as they might have been in many ways. Got a 97th minute winner. The victory means that Liverpool close right up as well. They're level on points with Chelsea, just a worse goal difference, but that's obviously a shadow looming large should Manchester United want a top 4 finish. Top 5 might be good enough, but they've got to try and shake off the likes of Chelsea and Everton. Cunha plays it in towards Mbeumo in the box, a little bit behind him, and he can't adjust, slips through to Pickford. And a point at the end of the season might be a good one, but I think given the possession that Manchester United have, they're just not creating enough chances.
No, they're not. 2 shots on target out of 10 as well. That'll be something that disappoints Michael Carrick. I know they haven't had big chances, but they've had chances on goal where they've put them very, very wide. Maguire bringing it forward into Fernandes. Here come the Red Devils.
Fernandes does a Cruyff turn and then gives it away because the ball got away with him. He's trying things that the basics are not good enough for. Manchester United are trying too many things that aren't working. They're not keeping things simple, coughing up chances. Sesko's had to drop deep to try and win the ball back, and Burmo has it. He goes down under a minimal contact, doesn't get the free kick. He did that because Sesko wasn't in the box. Everton are trying to counter, and that's just forced Barry a little bit wide. He is onside, and so Everton do have possession, and Dyer is now running at Harry Maguire. Into the box, goes round and worked to Idrissa Gueye into the D, but he needed to get it onto his right foot, and that allowed United to close the gap. and it's blocked at source, spins away for a throw-in, and that'll be Everton's ball, which they've already taken. But again, a breakdown going forward for Manchester United, and you look the other way, Everton perhaps didn't have enough bodies high up the pitch.
Yeah, that was the only problem, wasn't it? Maybe an extra body, definitely two, would have definitely helped there. And again, it's as you spoke on the first half of that midfield. It's once you beat Kobe Mainoo, Fernandes has been non-existent in terms of trying to win the ball. It's very easy to get past the Red Devils skipper, but once you get past Mainoo, there's so much space because Casemiro, as we said, can't cover it all by himself, and they're looking very comfortable, Everton, when they come forward, waiting for a chance. They might get a hit with Dewsbury Hall.
Crosses in towards the far post. Luke Shaw gets an important header because Ndiaye was on his shoulder. Garner's kept it alive though, whips it in right-footed. Barry on the stretch, can't quite do it. Comes out to Armstrong just inside the left edge of the area. The layoff is back to Branthwaite. Casemiro's committed himself down the river, and the shot comes in, deflected well wide. Dewsbury Hall was allowed to turn. There's far too much space for blue shirts. Maybe they'll be critical of themselves that they're not testing Lamens enough. It's a real schoolboy defensive performance from Manchester United, and they might be made to pay. Corner kick coming up.
This is an important time of the game, I think, for Everton, because momentum is on their side. We've already spoke about how you'd like to think they're very good at set pieces. Maybe the stats don't back it up, but just look at who they've got in the box. Barry, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, King. Get a good delivery on one of their heads and could get a goal. And at this time of the game, with momentum on their side, it's a really good time to score as well.
Tarkowski and Lenny Yoro marking, or is it Keane? Certainly Tarkowski's on Lenny Yoro. Luke Shaw's there as well. Branthwaite's ended up on the floor on the goal line. The referee has stopped play. Not that there was play in action. It's difficult to say who's right and wrong from set pieces because everybody's pushing everybody. Darlock has grabbed Branthwaite round the waist, but Branthwaite was clearly pushing Mainoo in the back. Maybe the referee's done the right thing there. There's a lot of gripping and grabbing and pulling and pushing. Even now, Branthwaite's backing into Lamens, clearly in the box, and Darlock's trying to stop him do that. I don't know how the referees sort this one out without a crazy decision. There's plenty of jostling. Corner kick eventually comes in. Lamens has cleared it to the edge of the box, driven back in, won't quite need a save. It was Idrissa Gueye with the shot, but it was blocked around about the penalty spot. He was shooting from the left of the D, but pressure applied. Everton still on the attack, left-hand side. Armstrong onto his right foot. There's just dwelling in possession. It's closed down by Sesko. Irigbunam to Branthwaite. Again, they stood off Manchester United. They've got options at Everton. They're picking out to Gueye. That's a terrible pass from Gueye. Ndiaye was the target. He's missed him, and Sesko finds Cunha, who's bringing it forward. He's got the pace to stay ahead. He's got Sesko to his left. Oh, and then he slipped. He slipped, perhaps trying to come up with his plan. Trying to commit a defender, I don't know, but he was just shaping it from his left to his right. His feet went, chance gone.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to say, I think he was trying to tease that defender, and as soon as he saw a movement for him, I think he'd have slid it through into Sesko. Poor passing originally into Sesko, but then what Sesko does so well is he just holds it up, waits for Cunha to make the run, plays it into the Brazilian's feet, and then you're off to the races. Again, you could say maybe he could have played it sooner into Sesko, but I think what Cunha was doing was the right thing. He just hasn't been able, that's what he's so good at. We've seen him do it so far for United so many times. Casemiro, that's a late tackle, and that might just be a bit of frustration there from the Brazilian. He's had to do so much work tonight in terms of trying to win the ball back. What you would say as well is, watching it back, yes, Sesko's up there with Cunha, but you look at it, Burma and Fernandes, they don't want to come forward almost, and they look like that. Again, they're just not there to get forward. The mentality's not there, because if Cunha holds it up for a second, he turns back, there's no one there. You've got to go to Sesko. I thought that was pretty poor from the supporting cast there.
Yeah, Cunha frustrated with himself because if he'd have released the pass, Sesko might have got a chance. Of course, if he hadn't lost his footing, he'd have had a shooting opportunities. Free kick from the halfway line is launched into the box. Tarkowski won the header, but it's a looping header into the arms of Lamens, and Manchester United have the ball back deep inside their own half into the 68th minute now. Signs of potential life in terms of a goal from both sides, more so perhaps Everton, given the set piece. That's a better ball from Fernandes. Cunha is forced towards the touchline. It was a bouncy ball, it's a little bit awkward, and Garner's done enough to protect the ball, shepherd it behind, and it will be a goal kick to Everton. They've certainly attacked a little bit more in the second half. Everton possession stats in the first half are 62-38 in Manchester United's favour. In the second half, it's 50-50, showing perhaps the confidence, if nothing else, of the Toffees. They're about to make a change. And in terms of shots in the second half, Everton have had 5 to United's 3.
Yeah, it's been pretty poor. I think Everton have had a better mentality, I think, in this second half. And yeah, you're at home, like you spoke about, they've got a really poor home record. They haven't won at home since beating Forest in December. So there's also maybe that little bit of, can we get a win this evening, do the double as you spoke about as well. United, the first time they'll do that in over a decade. So there's a lot riding on it, but credit to them, they are coming forward. As you said, it's a good defensive performance without putting 10 men behind the ball. I think they've been really good in this second half. And unfortunately for United, it seems to be that all at once, so many players are having bad performances. Mainoo's off the boil, Fernandes to join as well, and Burmu, Cunha, Diallo when he was on the field. You can't judge Sk so far, really. Euro looks off it. Unfortunately, all at once, bad performances are coming for the Red Devils.
Little problem off the ball, Fernandes and Armstrong. I think the referee's given a free kick to Everton. There's a bit of pushing and shoving. I don't know who's fouled who. It was after the ball had been played down the line for the run of Dewsbury Hall. But as I say, there's a coming together. In theory, it's a goal kick for Manchester United. No, it's going to be a corner, so it must have taken a touch. It's not a free kick, must have taken a touch. And Dewsbury Hall was happy to have the corner rather than try and keep it in. So corner in swinging from the Everton left. It's deep to the far post. Tarkovsky on the stretch. He's headed it up in the air. He reacted first. He crosses it on the turn. That's a decent claim. You'd expect Lamens to claim it, but he has backpedaling above his head in a crowd. And another half chance, or half, it's an attacking sense, not a shot at goal, but United just about deal with it.
Yeah, they do, and as you say, you expect him to deal with it, but it's still a little bit awkward at the same time. Long ball forward again, looking for Burmu. Poor from Fernandes. You spoke about the simple things. He's tried to force it a lot, hasn't he? A lot of the players have for the Red Devils this evening, trying to force things, trying to do things. Instead of just playing a quick ball forward into the success, he's trying to play it all the way to the other side. Yeah, that might work and he's through, but that hasn't worked all evening, so stick to the basics because he's struggling and he's one of many in a red jersey this evening.
And Dye's done well on the left-hand side. He's switched flanks. He's still going, coming across the field 30 yards out. Fires out to the right-hand side. Garner's up in support. Driven. Cross comes sharp. Blocked by the sliding Cunha. He was in a little bit of space. Credit to Cunha for sticking to his task of what he's got to do. But again, good play from Everton and then Dye in particular. Not sure if he's attempted to pass it to Ndiaye or Garner. Either way, Cunha's up to it. Looking at a replay. It's a cross, not a shot. They've taken the throw in already, and United have allowed them to take it. So Everton have possession with Ndiaye. Garner, right touchline to Ndiaye, closed down by Shaw. Reverse pass into the path of Gabe. Gets in across towards the near post. Headed away by Maguire. Poor layoff from Sk. Just about reached Shaw, but I think it bounced over the boot. Counter, long ball downfield, and Bemo, he's got the pace. He's got there ahead of Keane. Up in support is Sesko. He's played into Sesko. Keep it to B, and he slotted it in the back of the net. What a counter that was from Manchester United. Sesko one-on-one, and Bemo one-on-one. The attack arrived, and the shape of Sesko stayed ahead of the defence, and he's cool. He slid it past Pickford on the run. And Manchester United have a lead. Perhaps not deserved, but they are in front.
Yes, I don't think it's deserved. I don't think, if I'm honest, either team really deserves a lead. I think they've both kind of balanced of how bad they've been. Now Everton have put more into this. It was a decent clearance from Maguire, and then, as you said, poor playoff from Mbeumo. But this pass from Cunha to Mbeumo, it's a lovely ball. And Mbeumo's still got a lot of work to do, and I think Keane does as well as he can to hold him up. But in my head, you just see the ball to Sk. You're screaming for Mbeumo to play it. He puts it on a plate for the substitute, but I'm not saying he's changed the game. He scored the goal, so you do have to a degree. But when there was not, that run would not have happened if Diallo was on the field, would it? That's a number 9's run to get in the box, sniff out that chance, as you say, one-on-one, cool as you like from Sk. He's not got the rubber green with starting. I think that's more Michael Carrick saying, look, there's no pressure on you, you're a young forward, I'll bring you on. He scored a big goal against Fulham in stoppage time. He scored a big one here, could be the winner, could be United wanted to push on for more. What a big goal that could be for Sk. His 7th goal of the season. Great counter-attack, as you say, maybe not deserved, but a fantastic goal.
Yeah, he scored against West Ham as well, of course, deep in stoppage time. A little bit earlier, he got his chance today. Harrison Armstrong has made way for Tyreek George. It's worth pointing out in that build-up, United were defending a set piece, and Sesko laid it off about 10 yards outside of his area. And a matter of seconds later, of course, he was sliding it in. So he made up an awful lot of ground to get on the end of that cross. This game isn't done yet. Manchester United aren't defending well enough, it has to be said. And Lenny Yoro is taking a real chance in his clearance, where he initially didn't know where the ball was, has hit Diogo Dalot about 6 yards from the goal, and again it could have ricocheted anyway. It's gone behind for a corner. We've only got 17 minutes left plus stoppage time, and Lewis will take us through to full time.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, what a second half we've had, and I think over the last 5 or 10 minutes it's really started to get going here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. As Rob said, it will be a corner for Everton. An in-swinger from James Garner as well. Of course, as usual, Tarkowski, Keane, Barry up there, Branthwaite as well. What Sesko's brought, of course, a goal to this game for the Red Devils. It brings a lot of height defensively and defensively for corners, right into the arms of Lemens. I think he's just going to lay down and have a few minutes now. We'll have to see how Everton respond to going behind. We'll have to see how maybe even United respond to going ahead. Are they going to maybe try and control the game? Do they want to go for a second in quick succession? Casemiro's just gone down with, look at the back of his head, looks like it's even Lemens' own goalkeeper. Just as he comes down, it's a bit of a slight elbow on the back of Casemiro's head. Glancing elbow, if you will, might be a bit of a sore one for the Brazilian. I think he's one of the players for United who hasn't had his best games, but I would say it's more because the players haven't helped him. He's been on the island, as we spoke about, all evening long. I think he's one of the players who's probably had the better games for United. Lemens still with the ball. Not too sure what's going on here. Barry's closing him down. Barry picks the ball. I'm not sure what's going on because I thought the referee blew for a free kick, but Lemens was holding the ball for ever so long. Barry's saying, well, if he drops it, I can go after it. Referee's down in England this evening. I think he's just explaining that you've got to move back. It is a free kick. A lot of confusion of absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned. It looked like it was a free kick and Lemens was trying to roll it on the floor. Absolutely nothing. So free kick for United. It will be Lemens to clear now. And again, how do you think United will play this? Will they look to sit back, hold the lead for just over 15 minutes plus stoppage time? Do you think that goal will give them confidence to go forward and get a second? How do you think the Red Devils in the lead will play this now?
Well, I mean, it's difficult to say because they've scored a nice goal, but they're not controlling this game. Certainly not controlling the second half. But arguably, it will come to them as Tyreek George makes a good run down the left-hand side, fires a cross, which is blocked behind by Lenny Yoro, another corner kick. But I mean, United arguably play their better football. City, Arsenal on the counter. Everton have to push the game in the last 15 minutes. There might be a chance for a second. I wouldn't rule out Everton turning this around though, because I don't think Manchester United have defended poorly. All of a sudden, free kicks, corner kicks are mounting up, and I think United look a little bit nervous. Everton have got nothing to lose. They're trailing again at home, and we saw Bournemouth. They really hammered it with 10 men, and they could have easily got a point out of that game.
Yeah, the last 10-15 minutes of that, Everton were definitely the side on the front foot. Ball comes in, punched away. Belgian Lemens, and then headed further away by Birmingham. Gallagher will let it trickle out for a throw, and he quickly takes it to Dewsbury Hall. But I believe there might even be a substitution coming up, but the referee's stopped the play for something. It is independent off-tube studio commentary. We're at the mercy of the broadcaster. Something has happened. The yellow cards come out for a player he's pointed to. I'm waiting. It's in the Everton half. My assumption is it might be Pickford. Pickford, as usual, he's not happy with something. It went out for a throw-in for Garner Gay. He takes it. The referee blows the whistle for a pause in play. Again, as I say, we're just at a view of a broadcast. Pickford's picked up his second yellow card of the season. I don't know if he's done something, booted out of it. I don't know what he's done. In Birmingham, he's gone down now with a bit of cramp. Again, I don't know if a substitution was coming up, and that's why in Birmingham looks like he's making his way off the field. It looks like United were preparing a sub, and Everton tried to take that throw in. The referee said no, the sub's got to be taken place, so they're not happy. But that's what happened. The ball goes out of play, you make the substitution, and don't see why Pickford's so furious with that.
Well, I mean, it's difficult for us to see. It's independent on official off-tube studio commentary. Clearly, the referee, Mazraoui's coming on from Burmo, by the way, so that's hardly an attacking move. But obviously, Danot, Mazraoui, one of those is likely to push a little bit further forward. But you could see when the ball went out that the referee pointed 2 arms out towards the halfway line as though there was a sub coming up. You could see it. And there was a delayed reaction momentarily. Maybe Mazraoui wasn't quite ready. Maybe Mbumu sat down. It wasn't in the TV shot. And of course, Everton eventually got annoyed, and Pickford said too much. I mean, it's as simple as that. But the referee pointed towards the halfway line, and it was obvious a sub was coming. What United did after that, we didn't get the view. But I mean, everybody's reacting. It's toys out the pram again.
Yeah, and Birmingham coming off of Mazraoui, as you said. Looks like Sk, he's going to stay up top, of course. Cunha on the left, Fernandes in behind. And as you looks for the moment, Dallow's going to push a little bit further forward with Mazraoui on the right-hand side. So 2 subs for United. Only been the 1 for Everton so far. Armstrong off, George on. 6th corner of the game, all going the way of the Toffees. Now this is a packed 6-yard box, my word. Wonder where this one's going to go. It's another in-swinger. Goalkeeper Lamenta has so many bodies on him, he throws it into the 6-yard box, goes all the way through, will be cleared by Mazraoui. Keane also puts a boot in there, goes right back up into the sky. Sk is pressing down Garner Gay, he plays it off of Sk, wins another corner, 7th in this, well not succession I should say, 7th of the game for the Toffees, but yeah, an absolutely packed 6-yard box there, comes to nothing for Everton though, they're not doing enough with it. If anything, yeah, the bodies are there, the delivery isn't bad, but no one was attacking it. It almost felt like because everyone was on the back foot, no one could attack it. Some coming up here, it's like Eric Bunnan will be coming off for better, so that is an attacking change.
Well, they've got to really. I mean, they're running out of time, 11 minutes plus stoppage time, and of course they're trailing. If they get enough, goal early enough, they might obviously press on. Might as well lose 2-0 as opposed to 1-0. It's not as if they've got a relegation battle at the moment. They're pushing for Europe. They want to turn it around. I mean, I don't know what football can do about this, but I don't understand how you can allow 15 players stand on the keeper.
Yeah, it looks more like a Royal Rumble than a football match. Cross comes in, cleared away, falls for Gallagher. Just inside the penalty area, he slices it wide, and it will be a goal kick for Manchester United. But you are right, it's, as you say, there were so many Everton bodies. You've got the corner taker outside the box, with 2 players on the edge. You've got, as you say, at least 80% of almost the 2 sides. I'm just watching this beautiful view of Sesko's goal back, as you spoke about, Rob, basically from his edge of his own area to the penalty spot for Everton in absolute seconds. So pacey from a big 6'5" forward there, showing that he wants to get in the box, he wants to score goals. But you are right, there's going to come a time, isn't there, where with so many players in the box, a referee's got to make a decision, or the Premier League, someone's got to make a decision of how you sort that out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see it on the continent as much. I doubt we'll see it in the World Cup, but in the Premier League, does this make it exciting? It's not that they're impeding a goalkeeper necessarily, but if you look at fouls that go on in a game and what players do to win a free kick, apparently you're allowed to go and put 4 or 5 players literally on the goalkeeper, push him around on the line, and somehow that's legal. I'm not saying defenders don't do things that are underhand, but if nothing else, you're invading somebody's personal space. I'm not blaming Everton. This is just football in the Premier League. You look at the free kicks that are given, keeper's stood, and he's got no room to move into. It's crazy, really. Maybe they should disallow those corner kicks the way they're taken, but it certainly makes for a bit of panic and a bit of drama.
Yeah, 100% it does. Poor touch there from Sk trying to drive out. Now at the moment, Everton are penning United in. Rob spoke about the table, and those 3 points United are picking up now, pushes them up into 4, 3 points above Chelsea and Liverpool. As Rob said, that big goal for Liverpool at the City Ground yesterday, late on in stoppage time. They went level with the Red Devils and the Blues, Chelsea, but this could be a big 3 points for United to get that big 3-point gap in terms of 4th to 5th. Forward come Everton on the left with Bramford. Dinks a ball into the box, is a decent one. Maguire has to header it away. Still a lot of bodies in there in blue jerseys. Indye picks it up on the right hand side. Back to Garner Gay. Dewsbury Hall plays it into the box for Garner, just outside it now. He's got 3 players up against him. He whips one in, takes a wicked deflection. Maguire has to clear it away. Nearly fell for Lemens, but Maguire took it into his own hands and cleared it away. Only as far as Tarkowski. Keane will come forward. He'll unleash a strike at goal. Has to be tipped over as well by Lemens. United really deep, stuck in their own half. Everton not creating a big chance, but they've definitely got momentum behind them.
That's a fantastic strike there from Keane. 30 yards out, absolute thunderbolt with his left foot. I mean, it's heading for the top corner. I mean, that's a cracking strike. It's led to another corner kick. I mean, United are back to the old days earlier this season. They've retreated into their own box. They're mishitting clearances. Nobody's aware of where other players are. Players are ending up in and around in the area now, in the goal now because of that much pushing and shoving. As I say, how you stop it, who's at fault, open to question, but it's not necessarily what you'd expect. If they were waiting for a bus, somebody would be getting arrested. Why are you invading my space? I mean, you can't. I don't know what a referee's supposed to do. I'm not suggesting that Everton are doing anything wrong, but somebody's got a yellow card. Might be Tarkowski and Lenny Yoro. They're in the doing the bulk of the pushing and shoving. But yeah, I mean, United have retreated too much. They're all over the place. They're reacting. They're not proactive. They're allowing Everton to win balls. Everton are trying to put the pressure on. Don't blame them entirely. Maybe United need to make more changes. This is ridiculous. They're all stood on the keeper as the crosser comes in, and it's a looping header just over the bar. Beto's pointing for a corner. I'm not sure he got it. I think he has. There's too many people in one space. Clearly, there's going to be contact.
There's pushing, pulling shirts here. Shaw had a hand of an Everton shirt, but then I saw Maguire had his shirt being pulled. It's happened again. There's about 3 or 4 players on the floor. Maguire's there. Tarkowski's there. As Rob said, we know that Tarkowski's been yellow carded. The referee showed a yellow card for a United player. It could have been Euro, could have been Maguire. We haven't had full confirmation, I don't believe, on who it was. Might have been Harry Maguire. He did push. Tarkowski pushed Euro to the floor, then Maguire came stomping over and pushed the Everton skipper, and the referee's bringing over both skippers now having a word. And like you said, I don't know if the rule is there's only maybe a certain amount of players that can be in the 6-yard box. I don't know. It looks like a battle royal half of the time, and as you say, there's got to be almost a breaking point of this, hasn't there?
Sooner or later, something's going to happen, and it's going to go wrong. I mean, I don't mean serious injury, anything like that. It's just crazy that so many players are stood in the middle of the goal, and it's practically on the goal line as the corner comes in, and it's just about punched in the crowd of players by Lamens, stabbed away by Mazraoui. Everyone's back there for Manchester United. I mean, I don't think that's pretty to watch, and clearly players, both sides, will be pushing each other, so you'll be missing penalties. It's crazy, really. You won't see that in the World Cup.
No, you won't, and as you said, you don't see it much on the continent, in the other big leagues. You don't see it a lot in the Champions League either, do you? Even Arsenal do it a lot in the Premier League, but you don't see Arsenal do it a lot in the Champions League, do you? Because I think they'll probably come down a little bit harder as well. Lamens does have it now, and the corners have stopped for the moment for Everton. But as you spoke about earlier, Rob, United really retreating back and giving Everton all of the opportunities at the moment. 85 plus minutes played. We've got less than 5, I should say, of the 90. And whatever stoppage time minutes we do have. It's independent off Tube Studio commentary. Everton hosting Manchester United, and thanks to a Sk goal about maybe 10-15 minutes ago, it's the Red Devils who lead 1-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. And at the moment, Everton are going to be remaining winless, continuing to 7 home games. Last time they were victorious at home was against Forest in December. Even if they get an equaliser, that'll still continue. And dive down the right-hand side, poor ball in. Catching practice for Sammy Sk in goal. I think as well as looking at maybe a stoppage time, there hasn't been, obviously there's been substitutions. Sk got a goal in terms, you might be looking at 4 or 5, so we might have just less than 10 minutes of the game to go. Lamens puts it right up into the Merseyside sky. Headed down by Bramford, and Cooney takes it down on his chest. He's going to drive to the left-hand side, looking to get past Garner. He wants a throw-in. Garner wants a throw-in. Looks like it was last off the United man for me, and it is. And Casemiro goes down after maybe taking a trip over from Ndiaye. Referee and linesman are buying it, so it's a throw-in for the Toffees. Of course, they've brought better one those minutes ago for Eric Bunham, so it is a very, very 4-4-2 attacking piece of play from Everton. But United at the moment, winning 1-0, picking up 3 points, and picking up 3 points in what might be their worst performance under Michael Carrick so far.
Well, I don't know. They weren't great against West Ham, to be fair. Obviously, West Ham led in that game. Could have easily scored a goal on the counter. I think Michael Carrick's got to do something, and I think Manchester United fans would be a little bit worried. His team is getting overrun, really, and there isn't a sort of counter. As I say that, here comes Kobbie Mainoo, who's got nobody ahead of him, nobody in support. There isn't a game plan. They get an overrun in midfield. What Mainoo's done in the second half is open to question. Fernandes has had a terrible game. There's no width. Sk obviously has only come on, is trying to play the focal role. Why Fernandes and Maynard are ahead of Sesko right now as they're trying to defend is anyone's guess. Michael Carrick's got to make changes. Too many players are not playing well.
No, they're not. It's almost as well, unfortunately, that you have about 3 or 4 players who are having the worst game under Carrick comes on the same night. It's a little bit unfortunate, but the players need to step up to the plate, and they haven't done this evening. Less than just over 2 minutes, we should say, to go. Still, the Red Devils lead 1-0. Tyreek George hasn't done much since coming on for Armstrong earlier on in the second half. He's got a bit of pace, but apart from that, hasn't done much. The Chelsea loanee, Keane, out to Garner on the right-hand side. To the feet of Barry. He does well to hold off Casemiro. There's no one on the right-hand side. He does it all his own. Whips the ball in. Cross comes in, deflected away from Luke Shaw. And we're about to see this almost, what we'll call an 18-man, 6-yard box brawl coming up.
Yeah, well, United, again, if you're Everton, you're going to try and force as many corners as possible. United aren't trying to stop the corners. They're allowing the ball to come in and around the edge of their box, and they're letting the crosses come in, and then they're blocking them behind. They're too passive. They're stood off. They're defending their 18-yard box, and hence the 10th corner is coming up for Everton. Manchester United have had none. There isn't a counter in any way as the corner comes in, headed up. It's actually a good defensive header. Might have been Luke Shaw. Cunha's then been caught in possession. Everton's still on the attack.
Back to Ndiaye on the right-hand side. Thought he might whip one in first time. Back to Garner. He does, just floats it up, puts it up there. Cleared away, and Sesko tries to take a touch. It'll fall for Cunha on the left-hand side. He does well. He's got arms all over him, and he goes down. Very similar to what Garner was doing to him earlier. As you said, he's got his arms all over from Garner. Cunha, as you said, making it very obvious with his arms out, saying that I'm being fouled. The referee then goes down and takes a few seconds off the clock as well. Last minute, we're into the 90th minute, if you will, but the last minute before we hit the 90th minute mark, and winning a free kick there, just trying to get the pressure away. And United at the moment seeing out this 1-0 victory. We spoke about quickly seeing David Moyes' side. Quite quietly, they're in 9th place for me. I didn't think they were that high up the table, but United will probably take this scamper away if they do get it. Everton, if you are Everton, you lose 1-0. I don't think you feel you should have maybe won this game, but maybe you think we could have got at least a point out of this game.
Well, United have had one shot in the second half that means something. It was the goal. They were a bit unlucky. They created pressure. As I say, that Manchester United had possession. They were actually attacking. Dallas going round his man, driven, cross comes shot. United's first corner. It was blocked by the legs of Branthwaite. But that was arguably better. It was a better starting position. They haven't got 11 players in their own box, but a bit of positivity. An attacker's taken on a defender and won a corner. They've been too passive for me, but as I say, there's too many people. I would take, if I was Michael Carrick, either Fernandes, either Mainu, Cunha, if not all of them, off. They're not doing anything, and they're not offering anything defensively. So they're not going to go for the second goal big guns now. Into stoppage time, there's 5 minutes of them. In a way, I think he's got a little bit lucky to be on level to be in front at this point.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And I'm not saying Xerxes is the answer, but a lot of players on the bench, Xerxes, Ugarte, they haven't been impressive in a Red Devils jersey. But you'd have to say that they're sat on the bench, maybe warming up and going, well, they're not impressive on the field. Can you give me a chance from the throw-in? It's nodded down by Fernandes into Delors. They're trying to just play it out into the corner and tick the minutes and seconds away. Fernandes back to Mainu, back to Delors, who wins the throw right in front of the corner where the United away fans are. And loving seeing this, maybe not seeing the performance, but you come away with 3 points. You'll take that as best you can. 6 games in charge for Michael Carrick, at least since he's took over as interim boss since the Manchester City game. He'll still remain unbeaten. That's a late foul from Fernandes. He'll pick up a yellow card. He runs.
It's Mazraoui, I think.
Was it Mazraoui? Yes, it is. Apologies, it's Mazraoui. But as soon as he fouled him, took him down from behind, he knew exactly what he was doing, and it was just cynical to stop the attack. Yeah,
well, nobody's making a run for him, and he's trying to thread a little gap there. And of course, like the rest of Manchester United, his passing's not good. So it's a free kick. Yeah, take one for the team. It's the yellow cards, no doubt about it. He's stopping the counter. But, I mean, United aren't doing enough. They're hanging on. Okay, you could perhaps forgive one performance. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this. There isn't an excuse other than they're playing badly. So, as I say, I would make some changes. I mean, it's a bit late now. Maybe they'll hang on. But, I mean, it's risky because they're not offering a threat going forward. And they've got a lot of defending to do.
maybe would say as this ball is pumped in, cleared away by Sk. United might be able to hit on the counter again and look for a second. That is terrible from Cunha, and he's to release the ball quicker, but then Keane keeps a hold of it. Fernandes plays it wide to the right hand side. Here come the Red Devils. Could they grab a second? Ball into Sk. He's got a one-on-one with Pickford, and Pickford takes it past him and he punches it away. Sk will keep the ball down the left hand side though. Was great goalkeeping. I thought Sk could have just taken it first time. There have been 2 counters for United and 2 goals and 2 shots in the second half. Fernandes too weak and Dewsbury Hall comes away with it. Fernandes wins the ball but swipes Dewsbury Hall down. Here comes Tyreek George driving forward with pace and power. Strike straight down the throat of Lamens. Good save, but one you'd expect from the young Belgian goalkeeper. Just open up for a second there. Looking back at the Pickford save, and he just punches, claws it away. Should Sk be doing better? Is it good keeping from Pickford?
There's a 2-on none there, and they haven't got a shot. I think Pickford's done well, and how Manchester United, who had been defending for the last 10-15 minutes, have let Tyreek George run and shoot from the edge of the box is anyone's guess. They've got lucky tonight, there's no doubt about it, although it isn't finished yet, and still a change hasn't been made. Tyreek George unfortunately just slipped on the ball, so Mazraoui's put him under a bit of pressure. But I mean, they couldn't have more defenders back there, and nobody's making tackles. It's quite bizarre how Manchester United are trying to defend this situation.
We've just got about 90 seconds left of the 5 minutes of stoppage time, and that's an easy pass into Garner. Who's marking him? Down on the right hand side, arms all over each other from Cunha and Garner, as they've been all game. Cunha celebrating winning a goal kick as if he scored a goal. Credit to him, he's got back and done his defensive duties, but he's been poor this evening. Tarkowski taking a bit of words with Cunha in his actions. Shaw's trying to push Tarkowski away. Cunha keeps his head down. Tarkowski's not happy, maybe trying to play mind games laid on here. I think it's a bit of pushing and shoving for absolutely no reason. Maybe even Cunha's about to be substituted. The referee just said, "You're going off," I think he said to him, motioning the substitution motion there for the moment. He has got arms all over Garner. I think Garner's got arms all over him, but it's one of them where I don't think it's a penalty, I don't think it's a foul at all, but you're almost giving the referee an opportunity with hands all over Garner on his back there.
No, I'm not having it. It's never a foul. It's let a fair bit go. And, you know, if you're Manchester United there and Tarkowski wants to have a word, Tarkowski's on a yellow card. Let him have a word. I mean, the way Manchester United is shepherding Cunha away from the situation is quite ridiculous. So let him have a go. I mean, it's just strange. They haven't made a change yet. I didn't see if Fernandes got a yellow card for that challenge. He was just in shot then, maybe he did. But I'm surprised he hasn't made a change. If not, yeah, he did get a yellow card, did Bruno Fernandes. But he shouldn't be on the field. He's barely touched the ball in the last 15, 20 minutes.
No, Heaven has come on for Cunha. That's a defensive change made with about 30 seconds left. We've just hit the 95th minute, so this is last chance saloon for the Toffees. And Tyreek George swings across in. He'll go all the way from left to right to Ndai. He's got a 2-on-1 up against him. Plays it back to Garner. This will be the last chance, you'd think, for the Toffees. Garner floats one in. Nearly falls for George at the back sticks, but it goes all the way out. Everton want a corner. United want a goal kick. And I believe a goal kick has been given for the Red Devils. So they might have seen this out. They've not been at the best at all. It was one counter-attack in the second half. One shot in the second half. It does come off the head of Harry Maguire, maybe even Casemiro. So Everton should have a corner, but goal kick United. Yeah,
it's terrible defending because they've allowed the cross again. They're defending basically the 6-yard box. Anybody could win a header on the edge of the 6-yard box. Why not stop the cross? They haven't stopped a single cross. They've, 10, 11 corners. I mean, they've got lucky. I think this is a hark back to pre-Michael Carrick days, but of course Carrick is in charge. As the full-time whistle goes, they've hung on Manchester United at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's finished. Everton 0, Manchester United 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our